Fuck it.
You're right, Chris. People do want to hear us bitching about.
Wait, I want to hear Nick's song.
Wealthy government. Oh,
Yeah, Nick,
he waits too long anyway. My point was before we were about ready to go live, Garrett. You're just gonna play on top of me now.
I can't.
Hey, it's the best position. What?
What? Everybody likes being on the bottom. I'm a lazy fucker.
The point that I was gonna make, and then we can move on or whatever. Maybe we'll come back to this.
Oh, we're coming back to it. Don't you worry.
Is that if they put the pressure on the banks and the mortgage lenders to just put a pause? I'm not saying nobody gets paid. Put those 3 months at the end of the 10-year mortgage, the 30-year mortgage, whatever you've got, okay?
It's what they're doing.
But
if you call.
But come on, Jack. Seriously. And not everybody's going to do that because you have landlords that are not going to allow this because they need that rent because that's their income.
Yeah.
Okay. So it has to start from the top, and the fact that these banks are getting a huge amount of money. They're looking at the biggest small businesses and not the smallest small businesses. And if there's a pause, okay, on all of this across the board, and I'm not just saying like you have to call or whatever, because that's bullshit. Okay. It should just be across the board. Everybody, one big, huge pause. Okay. Then it takes the pressure off all of the little guys and these small businesses that are just going to fold like a house of cards because they're living month to month, rent to rent. So I'm not an economist, just like I'm not an epidemiologist. So I'm not going to hear say
what are you?
Everything.
Yeah, what are you, Matt?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm not. Okay,
Farmer.
Jack, you're old. And you're bald. Boom, roasted. Nick?
Okay, Michael Scott.
Nick, I couldn't all your hippie musicians that you listen to, they called. They said your libertarian views are shit, and they want their music back. And Chris, I'm trying to think of a Michael Scott thing.
You don't live in Boston. Boom!
Your heart sucks, and you crush your wife when you're having sex. Boom, roasted.
I think you crossed the line there. That one.
What?
Did I cross the line? Because check the tapes. The last podcast, I was in tears. I mean, it took me this long to pull myself off.
We were all in tears.
Is that a quote from something? Because I've never heard that.
What?
Yeah,
your heart sucks.
I think he said that too. He said it to Stanley, right?
He says it to Stanley, yeah. Michael Scott says actually the one that I wanted to use on Jack
fuck you very much, Matt.
Was I couldn't decide between a bald joke and an old joke. Boom, roasted. But anyway, I fucked it up. Here we go.
That's what I was saying to my sister earlier today. I was like, instead of this, $1,200 stuff and all the money that's just going to universities and all this other BS, it's like, why didn't they just guarantee a government-backed loan for anyone that needed it? It's like basically saying, like, hey, every citizen out there can take an interest-free loan for 5 years, up to like $10,000 or $15,000, whatever, as you need it.
But this still benefits the biggest people, because this is what happened with some of the banks. They went for the biggest small businesses and not the smallest small businesses.
Right.
Well, how are they gonna loan it to like Joe Schmo that's earning $9 at the Dairy Queen, right?
Well, they also sent checks out to dead people, and they don't even want it back.
And a 0%. I don't believe that for a minute. So and a 0%.
I don't know. That's what I read.
It's a 0. Fuck the loan bullshit. So the smallest person that's going to hurt.
Who is the smallest person? I haven't had the Guinness Book of World Record book.
I'm just saying the smallest earning employee out there isn't going to have the wherewithal to actually go through the rigmarole to actually make this happen. And those are the people that are going to suffer the most. It's going to squeeze them, just as it's squeezing all of the other little guys right now.
But it's always been that. It's always been that way.
Right, it is. But
you know what we should be squeezing right now?
Balls.
Those sweet frets on that little ukulele. Go ahead, Nick.
On that note, Nick.
Wow, just killed that.
Squeeze away, Nick. We don't have anybody in the chat yet?
Well, I don't think it starts for another 3 minutes.
Oh, it's because we had 15 different times?
Yeah. So everyone that is just going to miss.
And I was here before Matt. I heard you guys the whole time. I was here before Matt.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
It's because I had a grocery store.
The grocery store's open at 10 o'clock at night?
Ours closes at 10. So I was.
What about Jack in the Box? Are they still open?
I thought Nick was going to play his song.
Jack in the Box usually stays open until like 1, I think.
Well, it depends. During these times, it could be.
Oh, true. Yeah. Okay.
So anyway,
I'm eagerly awaiting when the Jack in the Box comes to Fort Collins because the nearest one to me is in Greeley, and that's a 32-minute drive.
Mine's Charlotte, which is 2.5 hours away.
Okay, so you got it worse.
Yep.
Okay.
And if you, when I was younger, if you took blood sample from me, it'd be Jack in the Box grease. Half of it would be my DNA.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
still is that way. Everybody's gotta live, and everybody's gonna die. Everybody's gotta live. I think you know the reason why. Sometimes they go and gets so good, but then again it gets pretty rough. But when I hear that Ramblecast, you know I just can't get enough. Oh yeah, everybody's gotta live, and everybody's gonna die. Everybody's trying to have a good time. I think you know the reason why. What's that? Two?
Yeah, Deuce.
Oh, Deuce, yeah. That is a song by Love, 1974. Yeah.
Nice job. It might be your best
by
one
Mac
yet.
Miller, I think.
Huh?
I think it's also sampled by Mac Miller.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Who the hell's Mac Miller?
He's gone.
Okay.
He's gone.
He's on the dead side?
Yeah.
Okay. That happens.
He escaped.
Everybody has to die.
He escaped the Corona rant.
You know, I was thinking, Matt, last night you were on the Lost Rewatch.
And that was a lot of fun.
So happy-go-lucky, and then you come in this thing, it's like,
Well, I may have triggered him. Earlier.
Why, by showing up?
I was probably triggered because I had to go to the grocery store right before.
I mean, you came up with the greatest theory of all that Paulo was wearing briefs.
I'm positive
that he couldn't be wearing boxers because the diamonds would have fell right through.
Would have slid right through. There's no way they could have kept that.
But what about boxer briefs?
Well, that's what somebody said. I saw somebody make a comment about that, but I don't know.
We all went with Matt's theory because we couldn't argue with him at the
Where's
time.
the proof? So, if he's wearing boxers, like there's never pockets in boxers. Am I right?
Yeah, and I didn't want to say at the time but he did have that, when Nicky was digging for the diamonds. Obviously, he was, the spiders had, neutralized everything. So that's why.
Oh,
he
was kind of like, I was waiting for this my whole life.
Because I was thinking he couldn't say it happens to everybody. But on this situation, it was probably because
I was in the pool.
I was in the pool. Because she's digging quite a bit in there, so it's like, am I right?
I mean, I think they made it a little bit longer dig. So we're talking about the expose episode. So that was one of the episodes of the Nikki Paulo episode.
Razzle Dazzle. That's the one with Carl Weathers, right?
Yeah. Also,
Carl Weathers is in that one.
Mandalorian. So,
Carl Weathers is everyone's favorite. He was great in Star Wars.
That he was.
I've got nothing. I got nothing. Hey, everybody.
When he tells Han Solo, ain't going to be no rematch. And Han Solo, I don't want one.
Hey, Matt, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing okay now that I got back from the grocery store and everything's all right now.
Did you wear a mask?
I did wear a mask.
There you go. All right.
So,
cool. There's still people out here going out in public without masks.
If not for my own protection, for other people's protections.
Yeah.
You don't. I visit my 80-year-old mother-in-law. I don't want to get anything and pass it on to her. So, like if I'm shopping and I'm getting things for her, or we're going to visit her in a week's time, and we're trying to limit the exposure to her, but you do have to check on the elderly because, thankfully she's not in a nursing home. But she also is going a little stir crazy because she wants to see her kids, and her kids are all being very cautious, as they should.
So as far as I'm concerned, Matt, you have zero to justify to fucking anybody for wearing a mask. It's the assholes that aren't that have all the justifying or the.
Now, what if people can't find the mask or they can't get them?
Figure it out.
Fuck it.
Are you fucking kidding me? Like, fucking figure it out.
Hey, I'm just throwing it out there.
Everybody and their fucking step cousin has a video on Facebook on how to make a goddamn mask that's going to be better than nothing, right?
And if anything, just
I don't want to hear that bullshit. Yeah. Sorry, Jack. I'm not trying to jump down your throat. I'm just jumping.
I was just throwing it out there for
like, fuck you. Stay the fuck home. Like if you can't take a fucking. Tell you what. Ready? I happen to have. I have this on my desk. I'm not take a shit in the middle of the show. But here you go. Here's the piece of toilet paper.
I don't think
that's better.
I don't think your single ply stuff would work.
How's this?
Yeah, exactly.
I like how it goes around your nose.
Whatever you gotta do, fuck off. If you can't figure out a fucking first grade art project on how to put together a goddamn makeshift scarf, then you don't need to go to the fucking grocery store.
Correct. And
sorry,
I'm in the liquor.
I am not an animal. I am a human being.
Because you got to stock up while you're there, and I was getting a little low on gin, and
the truth comes out. It wasn't about buying food. I can't podcast without alcohol.
Here's a gin run.
And so I'm in there, and these other two people are shopping, and then all of a sudden, like I hear one of them cough. And it's not a good cough. And it was just one of those like,
yeah,
fuck you. And whoever you're with, get the hell away from me.
Yeah.
I'm out of here. Peace out.
But not until I get my gin.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct. At least
wait right there. I'll be right back.
All they had left. They had Seagram's left. That's all it was, wasn't it? You're just like, oh, okay.
No, the things that were out or low, and they actually had flour because the last couple times I've gone, they didn't have flour. But that was one of the things that I had stocked up on before this all.
Cindy found bleach today.
Oh, I also found toilet paste. So
yeah, I was like going, wow, bleach.
And it wasn't stocking up like crazy on it. I just give me enough to get by. That's all I want. Like, leave some for the next.
Well, they say we're going to have they said today. What did they say today? And Trump wasn't happy about it because there's going to be a bounce back in.
So
November,
it was actually
December.
It was actually fucking hilarious because I don't know why I did it, but I did, and I watched the first 15 minutes of his fucking circus show today, and it was in reference to a comment that the director of the CDC.
Yes.
Made to the New York Times or Post or something. I don't know who or what it was. To some newspaper. And his quote was, and I'm paraphrasing, so it's not a quote. What the idea of what he said is that we have the potential of having a second round of this in the fall.
And it'll be worse.
It'll be worse because of, it'll be worse for us because of a number of factors, including the fact that it's going to be flu season as well. So obviously the White House has been backtracking on that call, that comment, and he probably got his ass kicked behind the scenes for saying it. He opens up the fucking press conference to address it. Mm-hmm. And it was just such you need to go out there and say this or you're fucking fired moment. So he goes out there.
I would say fire me.
He's like, I want to address a couple of things that I said that, I was quoted in saying this, but you're not getting the whole picture. Like what I was referring to is this, and it was out of context. And he goes, I didn't say it was going to be worse. We were going to be worse off. I said it was going to be more difficult than it is now. And I heard him say that, and I fucking just started dying laughing. I'm like, are you did you just say that? Like, you just said that you didn't say it, but you did say it, kind of thing. And then you hear fucking douchebag in the background saying, "Well, what was the headline? What was the headline?" Like, he's just like talking
fake news,
people,
fake news.
Like, oh, you other fuck you! Oh, you fucking sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get ornery. I'm already there. But some of the shit that's coming out of those press conferences, some of the stuff that's coming out of that White House is an abomination. Like, it's fucking terrible. Like, I know it's no different than it's ever been, but it can't be like that now. Like, it just can't be like that. Not now. Like, the only thing that I heard that made a modicum of sense is that Trump actually agrees with me on one thing.
In Georgia.
And that's fucking Georgia.
Yeah.
Like you fucking idiots. Like what do you like, are you serious? Like,
what's the joke? I because Jay told me before I recorded. He goes, "It's okay, Georgia, you're up 28-3.
You're up 28-3. We got this."
I said, what a kick in the nuts again. Oh my God.
I know. It's just like,
so Trump was against Georgia opening up?
Well, they asked him that question.
He was in the press conference.
In the press conference, they said, what do you think about Georgia opening up? And he said, well, he goes, I helped that guy get elected, but of course he has to turn it all to himself. And he was just like, he goes, but, I told him, I don't agree with, because, it's up to the governors if they want to reopen their own states. He goes, yeah, like when he's saying, I'm going to reopen up, the gyms, I'm going to reopen up the massage parlors. Yeah, he goes, those aren't essential businesses. He goes, so, if it gets worse,
massage parlors. What is Robert Kraft visiting Georgia?
No, exactly. He said that. He fucking said that. And I don't think he meant to. Like, because massage parlors is not part of the whole fucking thing. That's the best part. That was like the biggest Freudian slip in his press conference history, because massage parlors was not part of the subset of businesses that are going to be reopening in Georgia. It was tattoo parlors. Yeah, it's tattoo parlors, hair salons. Okay, first of all, she's not listening to this, so it's okay. I have a friend of mine from high school who has since relocated down to Georgia, and she runs a hair salon. It's her business. She runs it there. And I don't know her very well anymore. I mean, I keep in touch with her on Facebook. You see the basic bullshit that we all post about our families, this, that, and the other. But so I know enough the fact that she runs a hair salon. And I also know that I know her well enough on Facebook that she just had a fucking kid like a month and a half ago. And she's all posting on her Facebook page about how she's gonna, she's not gonna be opening on the day of that they reopen. They're gonna stagger it, but she's gonna be taking appointments as soon as April 31st or some bullshit. And it is taking every ounce of my being.
Wait. There is no April 31st.
Whatever the fuck it was. I don't know. Like the last April 30th. I don't even know what the fuck it was. Whatever it was. But she's all posting on
maybe April 32nd.
And she's excited to be back with her clients. And it took every fucking ounce of my being to not say, don't murder your fucking newborn. I didn't. I want to, but I'm not going to say that because that's not going to be very socially acceptable.
Well, I'll tell you what. I will do it.
Jen hit it, man.
I just don't understand.
Calm him down.
Like it's almost as if Trump gave us all electrolytes, and we're about to live in idiocracy for real.
We've been living in idiocracy for a while.
Not all of us.
Yeah,
I just don't fucking get it.
I did see a funny video about beauty shops opening back up again, and it showed like some woman, how they have those sinks that they wash their hair in. Like she laid down in it, and the woman just had a bucket of water and like threw at her from a distance. And then she had like the pool cleaning thing with the brushes up there. Like, okay, I'm gonna brush your hair now.
Head trimmers, the whole
like from everything from a distance. Like
that's funny.
But it's driving me. I mean, it's driving me crazy. But like that one section of the press conference he's talking about, he's like, I love these people. I tattoo people who go to tattoo shops, people who go to massage parlors, people who go to the gym. These are my people. I love these people. It's like, yeah, of course you do. You love people who go to rub and tugs. You're like best friends of Robert Kraft. Whoops, I said it.
Thanks, Chris.
Sorry, rant over.
Apparently,
I did have a. Would you have your mask?
Everybody likes mask wearing the mask, so I'll put it back on.
Cindy and I went to the store the other day, and she has her scar. I have my mask, and I said, "Are we allowed in the banks with these things on?"
Yeah. Oh, that's another funny thing I saw. Whereas, and somebody posted that up. Where it's like, I walked into the bank today. The security guard told me I was not allowed to enter without a mask. Because that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life.
But I was thinking, because I know people who used to work in the bank, they didn't like people that wore sunglasses. There were certain things they didn't like because they think that's what people, when they're going to rob you, they have who wears sunglasses inside a bank. But, I'm thinking now everybody has a mask on, and potentially everyone could be.
Well, my friend who lives in Berkeley, it is now they have like stores won't let you in if you don't have a mask on.
Yeah, the next town over for me in Bellingham, Massachusetts, is now instituting everybody over the age of 5. I think they said anybody over the age of 5 has to wear a mask. If you get caught wearing and not wearing a mask,
it's my God-given right not to wear it.
The Target we go to, they finally their employees finally started wearing masks, and they finally got the plexiglass up. They didn't have a couple of weeks ago. They had no plexiglass and they had no mask. I'm like going, these guys, how come they're not wearing masks? How come they're not plexiglass? It was, I don't know. Anyway,
hot tip: don't shop at Walmart.
Another hot tip: iron pokers. Iron pokers are hot tips.
Hot tip: if you're going to steal diamonds and stash them, don't wear boxers.
Wear briefs,
because you're just going to lose them.
So when I was checking out at my grocery store,
you were checking out briefs, people, guys in briefs.
I'm not going. No, not going to do it.
I think he's at the co-op. He's looking for sheep.
Wait, I apologize. I said I wouldn't do that this week. I apologize.
Hey, Chris in the chat says, I work at a credit union. Most of financial institutions have closed lobby access and are forcing people to use drive-through.
Yes, that's how ours are.
Yes. That was actually one of the things I'd never had done it before because I was so used to doing everything in person at the bank. Yeah. Was that when I got all my tax refunds back in, they send you the actual check. And, I was just looking on my mobile app and I was like, oh, I can just take a picture of the check. And then it automatically, I'll never go to the bank again.
Yeah, that's what we do. Or we go through the ATM because our bank, they closed the drive-through. But the problem is they have they have two ATMs. They're in the same lane. So it's stupid. I go, why don't they use the other one? Oh, they have two ATMs, drive-through ATMs in the same lane. So if someone is in front of you, obviously use the nearest one. Well, the person behind you can't go. They have all this room. Why don't they get more drive? Anyway.
Do your drive-through tellers have like the pneumatic tube?
I love those things. Yeah.
So well, cool. we don't have the drive-through anymore.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like an episode of Lost.
Yeah. Right.
By the way, we also discovered where the
poop
toilet
goes.
Yeah, the poop goes. And
we talked about that yesterday too.
Because the plumbing in some of those hatches, they're down deep. You have to have actually like a.
Oh, Jorge actually knew where the poop went.
No, he was on last night.
This was me theorizing.
Oh, theorizing.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, this is me coming up with some plans there.
So there, like you see the pile of tubes with the little notebooks in there. There's got to be a pile of poop somewhere.
Oh,
yeah. So
just look for the flies.
Yeah.
This is great. This is so good.
I know it's a lot of people showing up because they probably thought the show started at 10:25.
It's 10:20 is what I originally put. 10:15, 10:20.
I posted 10:25.
And we were just starting a little early so that Chris can get some beauty rest. Doesn't have enough time to get enough sleep.
Jay called him out on the Survivor podcast, but that's okay.
You didn't miss anything. Anybody that joined late, just Chris bitching for like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
and me coming
Jay
up
called,
with my
master plan. Who called who out in the Survivor podcast?
He called you out. I'm with JP. Why does the drive-up ATM have a braille on the keypad? I always wonder about that. I said, well, I don't get it.
I guess.
Hold on. What the fuck did Jay call me out for on this podcast?
You don't want to know.
Oh, I forgot to roast Jay. Because I didn't see him there behind that grain of rice. Boom, roasted. Sorry, that was my other. It's also office related. So for anybody,
he might have said something like, Jack has to leave early because Chris Skypack is a big baby.
Fuck you, Jay.
That's what he said. I don't want to be the one to tattle on anybody, but that's kind of what he said.
Jay doesn't even podcast anymore. He's irrelevant.
And then Colleen, we find out, is using dating apps. So
who is?
What?
Jay's using dating apps?
No, Colleen.
Why would Colleen use dating apps?
I would too if I were Colleen.
Boom, roasted.
Boom, roasted.
There's your title for tonight's episode. Boom, roasted. Yeah, you have to listen to the Survivor podcast to find out why Colleen is using dating apps. So,
anyway. By the way, thank you for Kayla for sending me this in the mail. I do appreciate you sending me your artwork. It's
awesome.
It's kind of a turn of events to actually receive somebody else's. And speaking of dating apps, my wife has some follow-up questions and doesn't want me to use dating apps for a podcast. So,
well, talk to Colleen.
Okay.
I did want to say something because last week we did kind of pick on Matt, right?
Sure did.
He was kind of the butt of the jokes because he's had some sheep on his farm.
He was 8 years old, and you guys are fuckers.
So I told Matt yesterday. I said, okay, I will tell something that's embarrassing to me. And then you guys can, go with what you want because I said, he was kind enough to join me on the Lost Rewatch yesterday. And anyway, so I have this knee, a bad knee from years ago. I was reffing and this kid fell and he slid. The two kids fell, and he slid and his head went right into the side of my knee, buckled me. My leg went one way, my body went the other way. I fell on the kid. The kid was like 10 or 11 years old. I mean, I literally probably crushed him because it was like bang, bang, boom. So the coach runs out and goes, "Are you okay? Okay?" And he's talking to me. He's picking me up, and the kid's laying there crying because I've smashed the kid. And I go, yeah, I'm good, but I did hurt my knee. It every now and then it's just like I don't know if I tore something in there. It hurts, but I'm not like a big wimp. I play through it. I'm not like Tom Brady the one year he couldn't play the season because, my knee hurts. I play through it. So the other day I was going to go check the mail and it had been raining and stuff. My wife goes, "Are you going to go out there barefoot and you're going to track the dirt in the house?" I go, and she had her shoes sitting there and her shoes they're not high heels, but they have like, they have the, I don't know what you call them. They have the extra, they're not flat. They have a heel to them.
Arch support.
I don't know what you call them. They have like a heel on the bottom like this. Whatever you want to call them. I don't know what they call them.
Flats?
They're not flats because they're
pumps.
Pumps. Okay, they're pumps. Guy Chris knows.
So you wear pumps?
Let me finish. So I said, I'll just take your fucking shoes. How's that? And so I put her shoes on and walked a couple of steps, joking. I can be a kind of a smart ass. Have you ever seen that model on the runway where she's walking and her legs go all over the place and she kind of loses control and falls? That was me. I made about 2.5 steps. I start going like this and I go boom, and I tweaked my knee, and I'm in pain. But I can't show it because, again, I'm not Tom Brady. So but no, seriously, I walk.
Hey man, he's not my quarterback anymore.
My knee has been. So it's the old injury, but my knee's been killing me ever since I decided to be a smart ass and put my wife's fucking shoes on, and she just thinks it's fucking funny.
So
did you learn a lesson? I go.
So she knows. So she knows.
Well,
that's not great.
Well, she was there. I mean,
okay.
She goes, "Did you learn a lesson?" I go, "Look, I'm 57 years old. You think I'm gonna change now?" But it was funny to her that I did have and boom, down I went. I'm an old man. I could have broke my hip.
Do you have
Matt knows what I'm talking about.
So do you have one of those like things like that records, like from your doorbell?
We have it. We have the doorbell. I wasn't outside.
Camera, a Dream, a Bring.
We have cameras in the house, but there was no camera pointed at me at that. I would have played it. I would have, because it probably looked funny. But my knee is killing me, and it is. And I won't go to the doctor because I'm not going to the doctor for this. It's like,
well, it's not essential. Yeah.
Well, it's not. I mean, I had the heartburn thing going on. I'm not going to do that. So it's like I'm not going to any hospital right now unless I have to.
So
unless I go down to Georgia.
So what you're saying is that you have an old injury because you used to fuck sheep and you fell the other day because you were wearing women's shoes. Got it.
No, I wasn't fucking.
I think you're jumping to conclusions.
Yeah,
there, man.
I go. There's no sheep on an ice rink.
Yeah, our burns are at least based on fact.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I didn't grow up on a farm. Fucking sheep,
no, we said based on fact.
There's no fact.
The fact of the matter is, you had sheep,
and you grew up on a farm,
and we based it upon that
period. When I was
3-month period, you said they weren't there that long.
I did.
Well, they got
3 months.
scared.
3 months, 2 months. I don't know. I just remember
they felt a little bit sheepish.
I tried, Matt. But you had to come
it.
back with the cheap joke and try and say
Dude,
that
you opened the barn door.
And unfortunately, your barn door squeaked, so the sheep knew you were coming in.
I don't even have pictures of the.
Well, why would you have pictures of it?
Well, because I had,
That's a whole level of other types of sicknesses. Right now.
They meant nothing to you.
Wait, I took a lot of photographs.
Just stop. I don't want to pick on you this week.
I took a lot of Viagra.
Those Polaroids don't age well.
I don't want to pick on Matt this week. Yes, I do.
Thank you, Chris. Hey, speaking of picking on people, I think we should pick this moment right now to take a commercial break so that everybody can check out their use.
Yes. Their use, I got it.
Speaking of Tom Brady, he got busted in the park down in Tampa Bay for
I heard about that.
Yeah.
I heard about that. And how about the fact that the New England Patriots somehow traded away a retired football player / wrestler for a 4th-round pick?
Really? How is that possible?
But they gave up a 7th-round pick, though, too.
Yeah, but we also gave up $10 million of Gronk's contract.
I think it's a good move for Tampa Bay, though.
You can't lose if you're Tampa Bay, but totally.
If there's a season,
yeah, dude, Tampa Bay sucks. They're not going to win.
Tampa Bay has a great offense.
Well, now they're trying because it's Patriots South, but I just think it's hilarious that Gronk, who is retired effectively. I mean, he says he's retired, but we still have a contract for him. He also signed a deal with the WWE. We somehow traded him.
Do you see that he said that he retired because he didn't want to play for Detroit?
Is that right?
Don't blame him there.
Who does?
Yeah.
Wow.
Speaking of teams who suck, did you guys see the new uniforms for the LA Chargers?
Yeah,
I did not.
They're the dark blue.
Yeah, they actually had I think 7 different varieties of.
Oh, I thought that was like an
for their 7
thing.
fans.
7 fans.
Well, because everyone goes, "Oh, great! They went back to the San Diego uniforms."
Yeah, they did,
and it's just, everyone's like going, and it's people in San Diego want the Spanos family to get those uniforms for fucking 30+ years. It's like, hey, can you put the yellow pants, the numbers on the helmet, the powder blue for 30 fucking years?
Yeah.
They kept saying, now we'll give you a powder blue. We'll wear the powder blues once a year.
Yeah, I don't think the numbers are on the helmets, but everything else is true.
No, they have
the numbers. Okay,
because that's the old style. Because the Chargers have the best uniforms of all time, and they just do. But the team sucks. But that's just another example of. I've been arguing with people on Twitter today with people. It wasn't Spanos' fault. The city didn't want them. They just said fuck you every chance they could. You don't anyway.
So true.
Yeah, I saw them. They're great uniforms, but the team sucks. And fuck Dean Spanos. Fuck him. Fuck him. Fuck him. You know, if I saw him, I would walk up to him without a mask on. And
so as obviously as okay. So wow. I mean, I'm gonna take a pause for a second. Just soak that one in for a second.
Jack goes to jail.
I'm getting some.
It would be worth it.
So speaking for the non-Charger fans, which I think there's a few of us here, I did not know that the nice. I did not know that little detail there that you guys have been like trying to get those uniforms as fans for the longest time. Yeah. That's a dick move to like take what the San Diegans wanted that you said no to and give it to the folks in Los Angeles. That's bullshit. From
the time he bought the team, they said, okay, go back to the powder blues, go back to all that. And they kept saying, no. It took them long enough just to do it once in a while. But when they got to LA, they wore them twice a season or something like that. And then they decide, okay, people just get, it's like every time every chance, I don't know why people remain Charger fans. The people from San Diego, I get it. I don't get in arguments with people. If you decide that's what you decide to do, that's what you decide to do. But the way they left, the way they treated the fans when they were there, they didn't get the stadium because they don't know what they're fucking doing, and they treated people like shit. That's why they didn't get a stadium. And they didn't want the stadium because they saw what the Clippers sold for. You know, that guy overpaid for the Clippers $2 billion when Sterling had to sell the team. So he said, dollar signs. I'm going to go to L.A. because I'll be able to sell my team for a lot more than I can in San Diego. So he's an asshole. Fuck him. Spanos.
Nick's comments in the chat were fantastic. I think Matt's tripping balls right now.
Oh, hey. I just was listening to Jack talk about San Diego. I kind of get lost a little bit.
I'm a Colts fan now, so fuck it.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. So
yeah, I'm ready for but I don't know if there's going to be a season.
No, I don't think it will be.
I think 2020 is canceled. All of it.
Because someone made a good point. He goes, well, they're talking about having the NFL with no fans. And they said the best, and everyone's been saying, well, people talk to the Chargers, see how that works. But they said, they go, what happens with that one play? Because look what happened in the NBA. One player tested positive, they shut the season down.
Exactly.
What happens if a player talks, gets, the virus, or a referee, you're going to have to shut the season down. It's stupid even. And this whole draft, this draft is coming up. Well, tomorrow, it's risky because you're going to draft players who are not going to have training camp.
Right.
So, most players going from college to the pros is a huge jump.
So is Tom Brady, like, the next time he plays, he's going to be like 43 or something like that?
Exactly.
He's 43 now.
Oh, okay. So he's going to be like my age when he plays.
But he may not play. It's like Rivers signing with the Colts.
He might need a contract extension before he plays his first game in Tampa.
And that's what the people with mortgages need. A contract extension.
There we go. Back to the contract. Back to mortgages.
Back to my rant at the beginning.
So again, I will align with a statement you made. I am not economist, nor am I an epidemiologist. However,
I'm an alcoholic.
I'm not. You know what? I have actually done an exceptional job.
No, I wasn't talking about you, but it could imply. But you
were talking about me.
I'm talking about Matt.
I will tell you,
You went drunk last night.
No, I wasn't. I actually didn't drink. I didn't drink yesterday. I've been taking long breaks from drinking. So that's probably why, like, tonight I'm like really excited because I was like, yeah, like I'm gonna have some drinks with my friends. And don't show off your weed to me, okay? Because this is just this is just painful.
Wow.
Don't do that.
You had a good day at the store, huh?
I can't. This is.
I got some candies. I got some chocolate covered coffee beans. I've got some dark chocolate blackberry crunch drops.
Oh, so these are real candies.
And I got some chocolate covered blueberries.
I thought this was going to be something that was going to be...
And some sour raspberry fruit chews.
Ooh, those sound good.
These are all infused or just chocolate-covered stuff?
I can't.
I'll let you decide.
Oh, nice. I miss my Chewies. I mean, that I never slept better. Oh, nice. Yeah, nice.
Wait, I thought you had to get up in the morning and work.
It still help you sleep.
Yeah, true.
They do help you sleep. I mean, that's the one thing that does help you sleep.
I would give up alcohol.
It tastes fantastic.
If I can just get some weed. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, because my wife told me, she goes, you were drinking too much, and you're really out of shape. She told me that.
Oh, wow.
Because I don't know if it's from the heartburn or the back. I get shortness of breath. I mean, she goes, because you're out of fucking shape. Were her exact words. I go, well, yeah. She goes, 4 years ago, you were reffing. You were on the treadmill every day. You were doing. I go, yeah. I go,
what of it?
Thanks. She goes, now you can't even walk up a flight of stairs. I go,
that's just not fair, Jack. I mean, we're here for you. I mean,
I
you might
know.
not be here for me.
I'm here for you, Matt.
Thank you.
I told my story for you, and you fucked it up.
But
you fucked up the story. I was diverting all, and you brought it back.
How am I supposed to make fun of you for that?
Make it about me. Make it about me.
Hey, I just noticed something. Have I ever mentioned this?
Your finger
right there.
All I say is blue and black and a little bit of a moon.
I'm going to bring it up. Hold on one second. Right back.
This better be interesting.
Well, it's probably not.
Don't know what you're doing there.
It's something.
Are you saying you have art and Matt doesn't?
He's showing us where his safe is at. Oh yes, the lost.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
The Black Rock. That's nice. That's not. I think. Well, now you're not. You're You're just showing us the frame.
There's text you can't read with the glare.
Okay.
Well, that's nice.
Is there a little bit of arts on it?
Which listener sent that? What listener sent that to you?
Today, for the first time I've ever come back. That's a quote from the show.
Yeah. What listener sent that to you? Was because did Matt get one too?
No, this is Jorge sent it to me. I'm kidding. 267 of 500. It is a limited print.
I'm reading Matt's private chat.
It's only for the private people.
I know. I won't say it. Oh God.
So if it makes you feel any better,
Jesse, that's not why I fell. I was not drinking when I was wearing those shoes.
So that art piece there was from like shortly after the show ended. There was like a benefit auction, yeah, for like some lost artwork.
Yeah.
And I bought that one. I bought that for I thought it was pretty cool. So I got it, and then so fucking pissed. As I was taking it out of the poster tube, I fucking tore the corner of it.
What a dick move.
I know. So I brought it to a local framing company here in Franklin, and they were able to kind of mend it together, so you can hardly tell.
Next time, can I give you some advice, Chris? Next time, do it sober.
Still ripped.
That's what framers are for.
Yeah.
I used to frame, back in the day.
So they did a nice job. They put that in the frame there, and finally got some artwork on the wall.
It's nice looking. I like it.
Thanks.
Good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Has it always been up there? Or is it just you just put it up there?
Within the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
There you go. You can see it.
So you went to a framer in the last couple of weeks during quarantine?
No. I've had it framed for. I got it framed probably 7 or 8 years ago.
Oh, okay.
6 or 7 years ago.
Did you just wear a mask?
No, so I got it like 6 or 7 years ago, and then I had it framed then. Okay. I did have it up in my basement in my last house, but since moving here,
luckily it wasn't floating around.
I know.
Did you have you put a black light on there? Is there anything special?
I mean, I didn't get that excited around it, but
okay.
I mean, I like the art piece, Matt, but I don't like it that much. Okay.
Richard Albert was on this. Woo!
I get where you're coming from, Matt, though, because if you got the limited edition, the original box set for show Lost, there actually is hidden stuff all throughout the box set, and you have to have a black light to see it.
I don't think I have a black light, but now I'm intrigued. I want to see if there's any secret message.
Yeah.
But that's my black light.
I did not know that. That's nice.
Speaking of secret messages, I feel like Nick's name here on the show, Deus.
Dropping a deuce.
is what we call it back in the day.
It's Deos.
I called it back at 4:30 actually.
I think you're talking about April 31st.
Yeah,
maybe.
I feel like it's a reference to devs.
It is. It is a reference.
I haven't seen it. Fuck, I haven't seen the last episode.
What the hell, Chris?
I know. I've been fucking busy, man.
I haven't even started it yet, so you got to stop.
I throw the challenge flag because Chris,
throw the what?
Nick, and I.
What do you throw? What did you just throw?
The challenge flag. This is the.
Okay. All right.
Flag.
That's not what you said.
Okay. Well, my good friend Nick and I.
Yeah.
We have
we did our responsibility.
We did. And it was good, right?
I was very happy with devs all the way through. There comes a point in the last episode where you're thinking, like, oh man, don't cop out.
Yeah.
Like, don't be typical. And then they did not. And
good. I'm excited to watch it.
I'm not going to go any more than that, Chris. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it is a good. I mean, there is
Jack. We don't want to spoil for Jack.
It is satisfying.
It's satisfying.
Good.
Yeah, there's definitely a few questions I have in my brain from the ending that I'm like, oh, but it's kind of like leftovers.
I'll watch it. I'll watch
the mystery be, I guess.
I'll let you know what's going on.
And there's some things that I think that you can pick up on if you
watch it again, probably.
Yeah, exactly. But I just have to say that, like, the other show that I watched this week, and I think I even tweeted Jack or made a comment about it, but on a post, I was in a dark place, guys, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are also in a dark place because, let's face it, quarantine sucks. Okay, you're alone, you're drinking way too much.
For Desmond. You're
tripping balls. You're thinking about the past and like what 2020 is now.
This is your present.
and well, so one night I just, I'm watching Battlestar Galactica and I'm working on the computer as I do. And my apologies for JP. I know he invites me along to the game night, which I
apologize too.
I have not been able to enjoy to join in. Saturday night tends to be a time that I'm either usually working on artwork or I'm working on work. And so I'm watching Battlestar Galactica, and it reminded me of my friend Ed, who passed away 7 years ago. And some of that stuff, when you lose someone, you can kind of bury that stuff deep down inside, and it all came back, and then this kind of just hit me. It was a show that he introduced me to, we connected with. I mean, we were friends for a lot of different reasons, but
I can't believe it's been 7 years already.
Yeah, it just came all the way back, like just crashing. Like I was just remembering all the good stuff, because sometimes you can remember some of the bad things, and I was remembering a lot of the good things, and it was making me sad. And then the very next day, Sunday night, I put on Westworld after watching Devs. So I'm watching Devs, which can get a little dark, but Westworld, and this last episode of Westworld got real fucking dark. Like, you're dealing with quarantine times, and what the fuck is going on with that show? It just hit me in a way sideways where I was just like, it just got too dark for me in my mind, and I had to cleanse the palate with some Office or something, because
what about Man from Tallahassee? You had to watch that one too.
Yeah, that one hit you.
Yeah, but and
expose.
But going back to Lost though, can rekindle some good feelings though, and good memories of just because I know where things go with that show. And
when Locke gets pushed out the window, that put a smile on my face.
No, but to Matt, to your point though, you mentioned things that can pop up that can just totally just flip you on a dime, right? And
yeah,
I've been there with that too. I had that moment this week actually. I'll pull the curtain back a little bit too and get a little vulnerable. But my daughter wanted to watch. I forgot the name of it. It's a new Disney Pixar movie with.
Yeah, Onward.
Onward.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I highlighted it I highlighted it, and like, when you're highlighting it, you get like a preview or whatever. I think I watched a preview just to refresh my memory what it was. And I watched that, and I looked at it, and I turned it off, right? And I looked at my daughter. I looked at my daughter, and so my daughter's 8 years old, and I looked at her. I go, Em, I don't think I can watch that movie with you. And she's like, why? I go, do you know what it's about? And she's like, yeah, it's about this and the other. And she was saying it, and like those moments where an 8-year-old fucking gets it. It's like that moment where like a light bulb goes off in her head, and she goes, oh my gosh. I go, yeah, I don't think I can watch it. I think I'll be too upset. And then she started bawling.
Oh.
I start bawling. And she's like, I miss Grandpa so much. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, like, yeah. And then I was a mess. And so I'm probably never going to watch that movie because of that moment, but it's,
I will say this about that movie, and I watched it with my kids and my daughter, who's 13. I thought she made a really great astute point about, and this is true for all Pixar movies, but she said, there's like several moments where like the movie makes me want to cry, but it makes me feel good. Yeah. And there's a point that the movie makes, and I feel like the point that it's making is that the loss that this character has, he realizes where he's actually had that relationship, and the love that he is really actually having is with someone else. So the loss of the father is actually with someone is with someone else. And I totally get it. And maybe one day, Chris, when you're ready, I know there's a time and a place for those things. When I lost my mom, I could not, like, Mother's Day cards, forget about it. I would lose myself in a Hallmark or a CVS like that, like just like picking up a Mother's Day card. It's just like, forget about it.
Yeah.
And there's no need to put yourself through that.
Yeah.
And there are moments where,
it's I'll tell you though, it was a moment like that. I don't regret having, right? Because it was actually beautiful in its own way. But I will, as a counterpoint to your one of your first comments about, everyone's sick about being home on leave and everything. I can honestly say, and I'm being very sincere about this, as crazy as it can be with trying to keep kids in homeschooled, and they just announced yesterday school is done for the year in Massachusetts. So we, I don't know if that's everywhere, but homeschooling a 1-year-old, dude, my fucking son's gonna be 1 on Friday.
Really?
Yeah.
God damn.
Crazy, right?
10 tomorrow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
My son's
so it's like, I've got an 8-year-old at home that we're trying to manage this whole schooling thing. I've got a 1-year-old son to manage, which anybody who's had a kid knows exactly what the fuck that's like. And I've got, granted, we are lucky for my mom, for my own job, right? So my job, I'm still employed, and I've been enabled to work at home. So I'm beyond grateful for that. And my wife is a guidance counselor, so she's been doing a lot of stuff for the school from home too. But this has been like the best time. Like, I have had experiences at home that I would never have ever gotten were it not for being home. So like, I look at this time as like, fuck, this is amazing. Like, I have been able to spend so much time with my almost 1-year-old son. I've had dinner every single night with my family for the last 5-6 weeks. And as someone who works in my industry, that doesn't happen more than 20% of the week. Do I get to stay home and have dinner with my family? And looking at this as like, I need to find a way to try and find the absolute best out of every one of these scenarios. Right.
Yeah.
And because there's a meme that I posted back a few weeks ago about, it was a kid coming or being interviewed at school or something like that. He goes, what was that? Yeah, Mike C says the edibles don't hurt either. Mike, not yet. They take a while. There's an interview of a kid saying, what was the pandemic like? And the kid, he goes, well, you don't remember? You're 8 years old. He goes, yeah, the economy really crashed. Everyone was worried. People were losing their jobs. People were getting sick. People died. This, that, and the other. It was the worst of times. And the kid's response in the dialogue is like, well, that's weird. I remember it as being, scavenger hunts in the backyard, dinners at home every night, being able to hang out and play board games in the living room, all this stuff. He goes, that's weird. I don't remember it like that. I remember it as the best times of my life. And I saw that meme and I was like, Jesus Christ, that rings so true for kids. This could be the best or it could be the worst thing for them. So we've just been trying to have it be like the best experience possible, and so far it has been. So I can't thank my situation.
Well, I know Cindy doesn't want to go back to work because we watch our two youngest grandkids. Oh, actually, my daughter, she's teaching school from here. Actually, she sits right here and teaches her class. So we watch her daughter and our youngest. She goes, I don't know if I can go back to work. Yeah, I don't know if I can go back to work. Because of, she's enjoying the time with the grandkids. And I like it because I'm not having to spend all day with the grandkids, if that makes sense. I mean, I get a break because it's not, and I can talk to humans, adults, not humans, but, I love our grandkids, but it's like, 10 hours a day. It's like,
right. Too much of a good thing. Yeah.
But she's like, I don't know if I can go back to work. I don't know. Because I'm having such a good the connection she's getting with the kids are great, your own kids are great, but your grandkids are better because you spoil them and send them back home.
I mean, it's the same thing for the parents of these kids too. Like, I mean, I know I made jokes about it the last couple of weeks about how difficult it is not having daycare and being able to do this, that, and the other. But you make it work, and like the experiences that we're getting now as parents.
Still standing. I heard a fall.
Huh?
I heard something fall.
No, I'm good. I'm Cindy thought I passed out.
That was awesome.
I kind of did that earlier today, but luckily I was on it. I kind of saved myself, but she I guess was worried I fell again.
I just thought about.
I'm not doing it on a live show. I'm not.
Okay, well, I just thought about this the other day. I thought to myself, boy, I'm glad that I have Cindy's number in my phone. Like I did. It crossed my mind.
I told her, I said, they'll call you if there's a problem.
But yeah, so
he's fine. That's just Jack. Let him sleep.
To cap off that thought, it's just that, these experiences are amazing. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I actually gave my daughter a huge hug today because, we were doing some art project for her right before bed. And she's so proud of it. It's hanging she's got these little paper lanterns. I don't know if you heard a Kiwi crate. I never heard that before. It's actually really cool service. But she made these cool paper lanterns she's hanging up, and we all made them together. I would never have fucking been able to do that, So it was just awesome. So we're making the best of it.
I will say this: Cindy saw your flower pot thing, the planter thing you were building.
Yeah. Because, in what fucking world was I a farmer? Like in this one, right now.
Hey, you're bringing back flashbacks of Matt there. But she saw that because you've been asking me for a couple of years to do it. And I said, okay, I'll do it. She goes, well, see, Krista, just call him up and ask him. I go, it's 4 pieces of wood and
super easy.
I go, I can do that. I go, I wanted to build one that was up. So she didn't have to bend over, but she's like, no, just build it. I go, all right, I'll do that.
Here's the thing. If you build it like an elevated one, don't forget that the higher you build it, the more your money you're going to spend on soil.
Yeah.
So for me to fill that one there, it's like $40 in soil to have it delivered, but to have it delivered, it's like $50. So I'm paying you $100 to have it soil delivered.
Miami Mike said, Cindy was worried she heard another Charger rant. Thought he finally knocked you out. Anyway, on that note,
I imagine Cindy's is hears them in her sleep.
She's out because I get up sometimes.
Shut up, Jack.
I get up sometimes, and sometimes I'll be wobbly or I'll be kind of fading in and out because that's just what happens.
It's your knee.
I wish it was a knee, but but sometimes I'll just lean up against the wall. Like today, she kind of held me. It's just I usually I'm pretty smart. I get up pretty slow, except in the middle of the night where I go to the bathroom. Sometimes I'll fall into whatever's in the way. But I'm gonna start wrapping myself in bubble wrap. But anyway, I wanted to talk about
Wait. Before you go, I just wanted to
I'm not going anywhere.
Before you pass out again, I just wanted to tag on to what Chris had said because he said some really beautiful things about hanging out with family.
Well, you're not going to top it.
No, I'm not going to try to top Chris. I'm just
fucking with you.
We went kite flying today. Like we took our kids like to fly kites, and it was just like such a.
All right, Ben Franklin, nice.
I know we're in Franklin, so Chris is in Franklin. I'm in Franklin, and we're out in this field, and it was just like such an amazing day. It was like
was anybody else there?
No, exactly. That was it. Like we picked this great spot where like nobody in the city goes to, and we're just out there in the field flying kites and sun's shining. And,
were they homemade kites?
No, they're not homemade kites.
Did you guys ever make that as kids? You'd make it from the comic funny papers?
Really just kind of derailing my conversation.
I'm sorry. I just remembered as a kid making kites out of but go ahead.
Oh, did you have sex with the kites too? Because, I mean, that's clearly like something
I'm not a farmer.
Sure.
Bring that back.
So how do you have sex with a kite?
Who has sex with a kite?
I don't know, kite fucker. Tell me. I'm trying to like tell a beautiful
Matt's
story.
Matt's guns are loaded. He's not fucking around tonight.
All right, finish your kite story because I don't want to know.
We went kite flying today, and then yesterday we went out for a hike because our state parks are not closed. We went for a hike around 2 lakes, and we saw 56 turtles. It was amazing.
I saw 4 in your picture. I'm not calling you out, but I saw 4.
I didn't take a picture of every single turtle.
How do you know they were different? How do you know they were different turtles?
Mitch McConnell was there.
We gutted him like the pig he is. No, we counted. The kids counted all the turtles, and it was just an awesome day. And to just Chris's point, like all of this time spent with family is great, and it's a special time to be able to share that.
Do you think your kids are going to have a tough time when he goes back to normal?
Oh yeah.
Well, for right now, it's basically like a super long summer break.
I'm just saying though, because like Chris said, he's having dinner every night with his family and all this.
What if?
I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at the people in the chat.
Franklin the turtle.
Franklin the turtle. Any Lisa Turtles question?
Didn't see any Lisa Turtle. Also middle-aged.
William Fry, were there any sheep?
No.
So I'm sorry, I wasn't laughing at Chris's thing, but anyway.
Go ahead and tell your stupid story.
Matt, real quick, I just shared the picture of actually the art project I was referencing from tonight.
Sure. I will do that.
You want Matt to judge it?
Oh yeah, I saw that earlier. Yeah.
I'm not judging anything.
So that's the paper lanterns that we made tonight, which are kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Very cool.
I'm telling you, man, Doodle Crate. You got kids. Doodle Crate or Kiwi Crate. There's a different like groups, and there's like a subscription service. If you want a link, I'll give you one for $10 off. I'm not going to do that and blast you all with the link. But there are lots of really cool shit in there that the kids have. She's had a blast making this stuff. So let me know if you have any questions.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, getting on it's sentimental to me. The people know that one of my favorite movies of all time is That Thing You Do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Matt's leaving on that note.
Yeah.
So anyway,
fuck your story, Jack. I'm out of here.
He just fucking threw his hands up. He's like,
fuck it. I'm out of here. Fuck it. And now Chris is leaving.
I'm in solidarity with Matt.
I don't know if Mauser's alive. He didn't fucking move when Matt went by. I think Matt killed him.
You know what's weird about the thing? I every time I think about that thing, I don't think that's of it being that old of a film, but it's almost 25 years old.
It is 25 because they kept set. Well, what they did a YouTube, they did a benefit for for the COVID virus, the coronavirus thing. And they were raising money as they were going along. They also auctioned off a 45, original 45, the first one being printed up for the song That Thing You Do. I said, God, if I had the money, I would have bid on it. But at one point it was, anyway, I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat, private chat. But I thought it was very interesting. It was pretty fascinating. They raised a lot of money. It was, you learned some stuff about the episode. They had Colin Hanks was on there. What's his name? What's the comedian? He plays the Mattress King guy. What's his name? Why am I drawing a blank on his name? He was in Few Good Men. Anyway, it was fat. I thought if you like That Thing You Do, find it on YouTube.
Yeah,
it's That Thing You Do, and it's pretty interesting to watch. What we did is you watched the movie as they're talking.
Oh,
so Mike in the chat says Matt taking a crap during a Jack story is that thing he does.
Boom, roasted.
I was a bit disappointed that Steve Zahn didn't show up though.
He was there.
What, I mean, for the live performance, was he there?
Not for the live performance, no.
Yeah.
He lives in Kentucky. He has like a 390-acre horse farm.
Oh.
He lives in Kentucky, and it was pretty fascinating. It was good stuff. I mean, to me, That Thing You Do is one of the most perfect movies ever made. It's from start to finish. It doesn't have any parts where you're like, oh, okay, this part's boring. It flows. How have you never seen That Thing You Do? Matt, have you seen it?
I've seen it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I mean, it's good.
Okay. It's okay. Oh my God.
I give it like a 7. You know,
A 7?
Yeah.
A 7. Oh my God.
Like, it's the most perfect movie in every way. It's so great.
It's
okay.
I will give props to Tom Hanks that he wrote that, and it's good for someone who's probably never written anything and wrote it.
He says that, and he said that in so I watched the making of That Thing You Do. He said, my only experience about screenwriting was reading scripts.
Right.
I never.
And it shows. Nick's gradation is like punchline, That Thing You Do, splash.
And one thing you learn about Tom Hanks is they were all saying he is genuine. That's who he is. He's that nice of a guy. I guess they all stood up late one time. He brought him into one of the trailers and said, and he didn't yell, he didn't scream. He goes, and he basically told him, about how important it was. He goes, and all of them said, I've never been late to a movie set or TV set ever again.
I wish I could have that effect on my students.
Well, you're not Tom Hanks.
Let me just tell you, I am so fucking over it. Like, I don't like shit on my students that much, but oh my gosh, like I like my tolerance and patience level with the fact that they just, half of them don't even fucking read the emails or don't respond to me. And I'm like, seriously, guys.
So you're mad that immature early 20-year-old people are acting like immature early 20-year-old people.
And I can be.
But I think it's a sad excuse. They should. I'll back up Matt on this one, even though he shit on my story and left. I'm back.
No, he shit during your story.
Jack, I did wobble. I did this like weird wobble as I left. So if that makes you feel any better, but no, I'm just frustrated because I've been very patient. I've been very understanding and kind to a lot of them. A lot of them are going through hardships, and my heart goes out to them. It's the other 25% that I just don't hear anything from, and I'm like, seriously, do you want me to give you an F or an incomplete? Like, I don't want to, but you're gonna force my hand here because you haven't said shit to me. So anyway, salute.
Yeah, the other movie Tom Hanks is going to be in whenever they start releasing movies again. That one where he's the World War II ship
submarine
captain.
Yeah,
no, I don't think it's a submarine. I think
it's a ship.
I think it's a submarine. Destroyer, I think, or something like that.
That was Das Boats.
Yeah, Das Boats. But that Chris has never watched.
What is your problem, Chris?
Dude, I had not had the fucking time to do these things.
You literally have been sitting at home.
I think Das Boot has been out for like 40 years.
There's no excuse for Das Boot, but for everything else, I do have. Yes, I'm home, but between kids, work, family, I have not had time to do things. Like typically, I would watch like all these shows that I watch. I would watch these movies that I normally watch on my break. At lunch, I would crack through all these episodes of these shows. I have not been able to do that because, and granted, I said before how fantastic this is to be at home with family, but you're on from morning till night when you're at home with family the entire time. Like I do not have the time to sit down and watch a show and watch a movie. Like this is a time where I could do that. But
I hear you, Chris. I mean, it's weird. It's like we have all of this time,
and I have none at all.
And I have none at all. I'm the same way. Like even running the business that I do, it's just like I'm not there, but I'm answering like all of these like stupid bullshit emails. Well, I'm going to the office to fill one order. I'm coming back home.
You're boring your art students.
I'm not boring the art students. The art students need to like bore me with all of their like needy bullshit, but they don't. So.
Matt Treese in the chat says, "Sorry, Emma, we're not watching Onward. Das Boot it is."
But
true story of brother.
It's one way of getting it done.
But I was going to suggest after watching that thing you do, I said, why don't we one of these weeks pick a movie that we watch and we give our commentary during the movie, and people could follow along in the chat.
I fucking love that idea.
That would be fun.
Nick's like, meh, it's okay.
No, it's a good idea, but the thing that sucks about that is you have to start exactly at the same time.
Well, but that's what you do. What they did on that thing you do is they had a clock going every now and then.
It's alive,
so you would know where it was.
Meowers is
because
alive.
They legally couldn't show the movie.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we can't show the movie, but we could set it up. We can watch. Okay, we're watching. Boom.
I thought they had something.
It could be Star Wars. It could be.
I thought they had something with Netflix like that, where like you could do a hangout.
You can
with Netflix.
You can do what do you call it? Like party watches with Netflix.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we do that?
Yeah,
I'd be happy to
pick a show on Netflix, and
would be like Mystery Science Theater 3000 with RCAD.
I was bringing Meowsers over just
to prove that he's alive.
Prove that he's alive, and I know that Randy is a big fan of Meowsers, as is many fans. He's been sleeping down here, so yeah. So
Matt Treese again, very very helpful in the chat today. It says Netflix Party extension is on Google Chrome, so you can actually get the extension for your browser, and we can do it right here. So did Meowsers just attack you?
No, but he gave me that look like, don't fuck with me.
Because you had that look like you almost just snapped the neck of your cat.
Yeah, keep fucking with him, Matt. So why don't we put up a poll and let the people pick the movie that we watch that's on Netflix?
Why do we have to poll people? We don't have to poll people for shit.
Look, you've been polling sheep for a long time, so let's do a poll for this movie, okay?
And on that note, bye, Felicia.
It's going to be something weird like 13 going on 30 or something.
Yeah, it can't be some crappy movie like Miami Mike says.
Why not?
I don't think Debbie Does Dallas. It's on Netflix.
It's not on Netflix.
Behind the green
Definitely
door.
Not. It's not there. I mean, I think that's a great idea, Jack. We should totally do that. So I did a similar thing back with the Media Junkyard years ago. It was for charity. It was for Autism Speaks actually, where I lost a bet or I lost a contest of some sort, and I had to do a commentary for Twilight.
I remember that.
Yeah. I think I did that with Steve Glosson, Big Honkin' Steve, for anybody who might remember listening to any of his shows. But like we did that, and it was fucking painful. But we raised a ton of money for it for Autism Speaks. So.
Yeah.
It just reminds me just how much of a shitty human being I am. It's like when I think of Twilight.
We all knew that.
We just didn't say it to you.
Yeah, exactly. But like you go to Comic-Con, and was it 2010 or 11 was the first Twilight year.
That Comic-Con's been canceled.
It has. But I knew nothing about Twilight. You hear all these kids going, "I'm here for the Twilight panel." I'm like, what's Twilight? Like, oh, it's about these vampires, and I was like, okay, that sounds pretty cool. And they're like, yeah, and like they go out in the daylight and they sparkle, and I'm like, that sounds stupid. You know what I mean? I'm just
Yeah, I knew nothing about Twilight either. I remember
just like, what the hell is this shit? I've
Wish I
had
had
so
a
many
percentage
things to
of it,
talk
though.
about, and you guys just keep going on your. I have no idea. There was a new show I wanted to talk about very briefly. It's on Hulu once again. It's called Mrs. America with Kate Blanchett, and it's an interesting show. It's very different. It's based on a true story about the Equal Rights Amendment that was passed in 1970 or 71, and it's from two different angles of women. It's all women, and it's so Kate Blanchett
Yeah, I
is
don't
this.
want to watch it.
Yeah, but it's good though because Kate Blanchett is representing like Middle America in the early 70s, and and then you have episodes about the feminist movement and all these other women who want the Equal Rights Amendment, and it's like kind of similar to today, as in like you have two Americas, and how the feminist movement overlooked this huge segment of America, and they're like, oh, we're just going to get this ratified. It's no big deal. And they actually were arrogant in thinking like, oh, we're going to get this ratified. And then this woman who's played by Kate Blanchett, like sent out all these newsletters and like rallied, like, this means that women are going to be able to be, voted for the draft. This means that, men want to pay alimony, like all these things, and it basically scared the shit out of women. And it's an interesting show. There's only 3 episodes, like right now, out, but I liked it.
Alan Alda was a big, he campaigned for
it. You had me at Kate Blanchett.
She is great.
She is a big fan of her. So I kid Nick. I mean, he is the only other person that appears on Owen and Brews Barbecue.
Yeah, it's true, even though there's 3 hosts. Speaking of that,
Chris is busy. Chris is busy.
Speaking of getting teary-eyed, Chris, the newest episode, there is one scene that you would not think I would get misty-eyed about a freaking cartoon, but I did.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
All the feels in one particular scene. It's a great episode.
Yeah. Are you talking about the most recent one?
Yeah, most recent one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to fit in Clone Wars into whatever.
The 7th season has, Nick and I mean, if you've listened to our own and Brews about it, like we've been pretty critical about it. And up until episode 9, we've been like, come on, right? Like, I mean, we've liked some of them, but we've been a little bit more kind of like, all right, like why, what's going on? Like, let's pick up the pace. And this last episode, in one episode, we've been just like, holy fuck. Are you kidding me? Like, you just like, it's like, what did you do? Take cocaine, Dave Filoni?
It's basically,
the Filoni's swan song.
It's basically, this, I'm already thinking these last 4 episodes are basically another movie, and it's probably going to be the best Star Wars movie since Revenge of the Sith. I mean, the way it's shaping up to be, the first episode was so good. Because, I mean, just the production of it, all the little Easter eggs, the music that's playing along with it, it's so good.
The fact that it, like, listens to the other material that's been written.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to catch up.
That's why I can't keep up on my TV shows, because I'm binging Owen Brews Barbecue.
Sure.
So, fun fact, I actually tried to get I snuck in an episode of Rebels while my daughter was getting up to get a snack, and I just put on Rebels to see what would happen.
Yeah.
And she came back, and she's like, this isn't my show. I'm like,
little dictator. Yeah.
Like, just hang on a second.
Relax.
Give this a shot. Tell me what you think. Oh, this is a Star Wars show. I kind of like her, who's Sabine, obviously, right? And, she kind of got into it, and then at the end of the episode, she's like, no, I don't want to watch it anymore. I'm like, oh, I tried. I almost got her hooked back into it, but not yet.
So Sabine in for Rebels is definitely my favorite character of the show. I don't know why. I just thought Sabine was awesome. Mandalorians are cool.
So it was like episode 2 or 3 of Rebels. So it was the one where he gets left behind, and then they go back and save him.
Wait, you're just in the very beginning of Rebels?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
okay. I'm trying to get her into it, but failing miserably.
The one with the Melu Run fruit is one that my kids find to be especially hilarious for some reason. So And I think that's like the third episode. Like they got to get the TIE fighter or something like that. There's a TIE fighter.
I'm going to keep trying.
So,
Otherwise, it's nothing but like these random ass Netflix shows. She started watching some Investigators. It's like some Australian like sitcom for kids. It's weird.
My daughter's really into the Carmen Sandiego, but that's the thing that she's been
until
watching.
Spanos fucked it up.
Yeah, that's exactly what my daughter's was like. You know, Carmen Sandiego would be so much cooler if the Chargers.
Spanos didn't fuck it up. You fucked everything up.
I'll tell you what show I have.
What's at the stadium? Oh wait, nothing.
I'll tell you what show I have not skimped on, and it's because we've been watching as a family. I know I mentioned a few weeks ago, but like our nightly ritual now after dinner is to watch an episode of Fuller. No, not Dave.
Fuller House.
So fucking good though. We watch Fuller House. We watch an episode of Fuller House, and then we watch an episode of Full House. So
how do you just stop at one?
Wow.
What's that?
How do you just stop at one?
It's like a
night bedtime for my daughter. That's how we stop. So
because once you get rolling on those episodes,
I know. So but it's great.
Family.
So we're actually
you got it, dude.
we're in season 1 of both, right? So my daughter's already binged the entire Fuller House like series, so she knows what's going on. Yeah, parenting. Hashtag parenting.
Randy.
No, she actually wears red, but yeah, that's a good call.
So we watch one episode from season 1, and we watch one episode of season 1 of the original series, and I have forgotten how much I fucking love that show. It is so good. Full House is a fantastic show. Go back and rewatch it.
I read something random one day. It was talking about how Uncle Joey like lives, in a closet basically in the house,
in the alcove.
In the alcove. And if you look at every episode,
that was me.
Was that you? The mannequin?
Chris
Okay, it was you. It was
the mannequin's wearing the same outfit as he is in every episode. But he since moved down to the basement.
Okay.
They finally gave him the basement. That was nice.
They did. Yeah, they redid the basement.
Is that because he hooked up with Aunt Becky, or
no? That's Uncle Jesse, and that hasn't happened yet.
Who did I say? Who we were talking about?
Joey. We're talking about Joey.
Oh, Joey's the comedian guy.
Dave Coulier.
Well, actually, they're all
cut it
comedians.
out. I fucking love that show. So tonight's episode was kind of surreal, right? So it was.
Isn't there one where there's a problem in the house and they all solve it at the end?
Exactly. So tonight's episode was when Stephanie gets chicken pox.
Oh,
I
and they're
love
in a
that one.
pandemic.
And my daughter's like, what? My daughter's like, what the hell is chicken pox? And we had to explain to her this now like eradicated disease of chicken pox because it was like a big thing when we were kids.
Oh,
I had it.
I had it.
That's something else that blew my mind too. My sister had her kids. It was like, wait, they're getting around 5-6 years old now. They should be getting chicken pox. Like, no, they don't do that anymore. I'm like,
they get it. That's what vaccines are for, people.
Yeah, there used to be fucking chicken pox parties.
Yeah,
where parents would bring kids to a kid's house who has it to expose them to get it over with.
That's what happened. That's what happened with my kids because some lady came into my business. Her kids had chicken pox. And one of my kids was. I go. She goes, "Oh, it's good." She goes, "Your kids have already had it." I go, "No." And she goes, "Oh," and then they all boom, boom, boom got it. It was like pain in the ass because chicken pox. If you don't, kids that don't know about it. You scratch, you itch. It's a nightmare.
It's awful. Yeah. I remember like being stuck at home for like, it seemed like 10 days or 2 weeks, not being able to go to school. Mm-hmm. And guess what? If you've had chicken pox, bonus, you get shingles.
Not always, but yeah.
Well, not always, but there's a good chance.
So I got that going for me.
You could get shingles.
So check this out.
And that
so
is painful as
when my daughter
can I get it watching Fuller House?
Maybe,
but I'm just telling you, it is painful.
When my daughter was like 3 years old, 2 or 3 years old, she got. You guys ever heard of hand, foot, mouth disease?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So my daughter got
right.
Kids.
Yeah. So my daughter
clove hoof.
That's hoof.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
So my daughter got hand, foot, mouth went from her daycare back like when she was like 2 or 3 years old, and what a lot of people don't realize, and I found this out after the fact, is that many of us have gotten it, but we were kids when we got it. Because when you're a kid, the symptoms can be mistaken for chicken pox, or they can be mistaken for like hives or whatever. It's not nearly as severe. apparently, I never had it as a kid. So when my daughter got it, she gave it to me, and it is fucking terrible. Like, I had sores all over my hands, all over my sides, down my legs, like from my hip down to my toe. I had all these crazy like welts and sores. It was the most horrific thing that I've had to go through in my, like, physically in my in my 30s, if you will. I can still say that for a few more weeks. But it was and just your balls. No, they weren't on my balls, but it was bad. Like, she had it. She had, like, mild symptoms that she was fine. Shaft? What the fuck? Nope, not in the shaft either. So she had mild symptoms, and meanwhile, I'm sitting here with, like, a man just.
Who is this? Who is this Ramblecast that keeps saying these naughty things?
Yeah. So meanwhile, I'm here having a man cold, for like 2 weeks, and it was the worst. So, but I'll never get it again.
Usually we save this stuff for the private chat, people. This is on par with what is in the private chat.
My God!
If anybody wants to know,
that's all public.
If anyone wants to know what we say for the private chat, this is about the.
This is a good preview. It's a good preview of what we say.
And don't blame Jack for laughing, because you can see sometimes it's funny. I mean, I know some people don't like it when I laugh at the chat, but you
can go to our YouTube and check the tape.
Just subscribe, and you can be part of this. You can watch us live
and listen. Every Wednesday night now.
So this is a roundabout.
I can do Tuesday night next week.
This is my family's new ritual, is to watch Full House and Fuller House, and apparently change the conversation into balls, shaft, and just a tip. But
you got it, dude.
How rude! How rude! Anyways, all right, guys. I actually do have to get going. I apologize. At the very early start tomorrow morning, so I'm going to take off. But
before you go, can you record next Tuesday night?
Yeah,
like 9:30, 9:45.
Just calendar. I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at a calendar.
We were doing Wednesday nights. What's going on?
Well, I'm gonna skip a week of the Lost Rewatch for people to catch up, and I just said
Tuesday looks good for me.
That way I don't do back to back.
But we were avoiding Tuesday because of the broadcast.
Oh, right.
That's why we were doing Wednesday.
Well, I'll let you all figure it out. I'm pretty free every night.
Well, they're not doing it live, right?
I don't know what they're.
As long as they're not doing live, it doesn't matter, right? Matt, you're the producer. You take fucking charge. All right. You say, "Fuck it, we're recording on." It doesn't matter. We're recording Tuesday night.
You're the executive producer.
I'm not anything.
You talk to Kyle.
I'm nothing.
Hey,
I'm nothing.
as Mike C says, cut it out. That's a Dave Coulier reference. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that.
All right, Chris, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Don't crush your wife during sex. Boom, you're roasted.
Boom, you're roasted.
You're roasted. Good night, everybody. It's good to see you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
God bless.
Bye. Well, show's over.
Finally got my own spot.
Yeah, you do. You're on the bottom. So, anything else you guys are watching?
See my Dharma van.
I mean, I know Nick is pretty quiet through most of this episode.
Well, you guys have had so many good conversations. I'm just like, oh, well, I can talk now, but it's like,
like all of our great socialist programs that we proposed.
Did you?
I don't know. I'm just ribbing you, man.
My back,
my neck, and my back. I'm trying to think of anything up. I mean, I said Mrs. America, which is the only new show I've watched, which I do recommend. It was good. And then
I want to watch that. I haven't watched that HBO show yet. The one with
Plot Against America.
Yeah, I got to watch that.
That one is interesting. I know some people like it. Me just being a history major, I had a big just issues with it because it's historical fiction, and I know there's a certain point where you should realize this is not true. None of this is going on.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't.
Yeah, and it's just like a lot of it's to me it was just kind of depressing because it's basically they're taking today's political times and trying to put it in 1940. And it works in some ways it doesn't. And I mean, it's good. It's well acted. I mean, the actors in it are phenomenal, but like, I have problems with any historical fiction. It doesn't matter what it is, just because I don't like people. It's like Tora. I have issues with that. It's a great movie, but it's like, there's so many people that believe that they actually said, like, I fear all we've done is, awaken a tiger. It's like, or awaken a sleeping giant. It's like that. They just put that in there for a positive spin on a film.
From the Tora, it's too long.
It is long.
It takes too long to get to the bombing.
Well, what about that Nazi show you guys love?
Man in the High Castle? Well, that's it's sci-fi.
No, I know it's Philip K. Dick. I can watch anything.
But I was thinking the same thing when he was talking about it. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I basically like anything Philip K. Dick did, though. I mean, Minority Report and
actually,
you probably like the what do sheep dream, or whatever.
No, they have nightmares. No, I like my favorite movie, but instead of Tora is Midway.
I mean, they're both good.
I haven't seen the new Midway, but William Fry finally started Downton Abbey. Congratulations.
I mean, I never finished Downton Abbey, which is weird because I was moving to LA right at the time that last season aired. I think I missed like the last 3 episodes of the season. I never watched the movie either. But I mean, basically, when that one character is no longer on the show, to me it went downhill after that. Because
we won't tell you who that is, William.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it just became all this whole. I mean, even though it's a soap opera basically and gossipy crap, it's just like I don't care. I don't care that much about the butler and his issues. not the main butler, but the footman. It's like I don't care.
But they did have issues. I mean, it was built on class and all that different stuff. And
yeah, that's true. And then the writer of that has another show out right now. I haven't started it. I don't know if it's good or not though.
The one show that I've been watching,
Cindy's been watching. She's 2 episodes into it. It's Sherry would. I don't know if Sherry's still in the chat. She would know. It's called something.
Yes, it's a long word. Yeah.
I've seen part of it, but she watches it without me, so I've seen some of it.
Yeah, I mean it's the same thing. It's all about classism.
It's definitely got it's Downton Abbey because it has almost similar music.
Oh yeah. Randy brings up a good point about Better Call Saul. This season is. I mean, every season's good. This one to me it felt like a segue between one season to the next. Like it's kind of like okay, but.
I'm 2 seasons behind.
Yeah, I have to get caught up with Better Call Saul.
Because they just had the 5th season, right?
I think this was the 5th season.
I need to watch the 4th and 5th. I mean, I love Better Call Saul. Again, I'm binging, Ellen and Baruz. Like, I don't have time for anything.
Sure. The 2 shows that I'm trying to get caught up to, or that I'll watch, is Better Call Saul and Ozark. But right now, because I have CBS, I decided that I wanted to go through Star Trek Discovery. And so I've been watching season 1 of Star Trek Discovery. It's kind of been one of my nightly shows. And have you seen it, Nick?
No. I mean, I never was a Star Trek person. I mean, I know enough about it, but I never watched it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's been some episodes where I could just kind of be like, okay, this is on in the background and whatever. But as it's been progressing, and at least for the listeners that have watched Star Trek Discovery, the first season, as it's been progressing towards the end, and I can at least explain this much for Jack and Nick who are familiar with it, when they get to the mirror storyline, that's when it piqued my interest, where I was like, oh, we're going here. This is cool. So
yeah.
And that has got me, really like, I mean, it really kind of hooked me, because before that, until we got to that point, I was kind of like, okay, like the first 3 episodes, I was learning who the characters were. I was getting familiar with this world. And, I've heard great things about season 2. So I would like to kind of get through the first season so I can finish season 2. And I know that I don't need to finish Star Trek Discovery to get to Picard, but ultimately, like, I want to watch Picard while I have the CBS. So,
it is funny just because you said like getting to a certain episode before you're hooked on it. It's funny to me how some series are that way, because Like I think Jack has said that about Lost or Jay. If the pilot didn't hook you, if you got all the way to Walkabout and you still weren't into the show, then just give up.
Give up. Yeah.
Because I still remember like the first episode I watched was The Numbers because I, like a lot of people, was late to the show and I was like, oh, this is interesting. I liked that episode. It was Jorge's first centric episode, and then my sister let me borrow season 1 when it came out on DVD, and so then I binge watched season 1 and then started with season 2. But I was like, it was a show I definitely wanted to watch.
Well, The Wire was a show, I think it was the 4th episode, because my wife gave up on it. And I think it was the 4th episode before I go, all right, this is really good. Because the first 3 episodes, I'm like going, okay, this is good, but it's like, this is not the great show everyone says it is. But then it really, I don't know, something clicked, and I said, oh my God, I love this show. And my wife said, I'm not going to go back and watch it. She didn't say it like that, but yeah, she did.
I know that we could probably chat, and usually Nick and Jack and I, like we end up talking for like another 20 minutes after the show ends.
True.
Like we did last week. And usually that's, it's kind of, we did it in reverse, because usually that's when we talk a little bit more politics and we're kind of a little bit more kind of off the cuff.
Chris had a pickle up his ass, so.
As opposed to the way that
we had bumps, right?
As opposed to the way that we started this episode. Well, you guys were talking before I could even come on, because I again, this episode started with me just getting back from the grocery store, and I'm a bit of a hypochondriac. So before I could even podcast, I wanted to take a shower. Like, it's just what I do. It's like
I do when I come back. When I go out, I take a scorching shower anyway.
I get it. Hot. You probably were feeling a little dirty after coming back from the farm, so it makes sense.
No, it's the fucking a-hole who's in the liquor aisle that decides to just give the and I'm like, I don't know what you just did, but I'm out of here. Okay, I grabbed my gin. I grabbed my.
But you still grabbed your gin. That was the.
Well, he was at least, there was a couple dividers in between us, so I felt like the cloud of whatever.
Do they have the arrows telling which direction to go? Because a lot of stores are doing that now, where they have the arrows.
No, there were no arrows.
Really?
They do have the plastic partition. And when I went to check out, I usually go to the self checkout because I feel like, okay, I'm in charge of my stuff. I don't have to interact with anybody. However, there was a guy that was free and available, and he was probably your age, Jack, in his 50s, and he was wearing a mask. I'm wearing a mask. I feel like, okay, I will go through your line because at least you're taking this precaution. The other fuckheads aren't. Whatever, do your own thing.
Because there's some people don't obey the arrows, because Target has the arrows, and some people you're looking at, you're going, it's like when the person drives the wrong way in the parking lot, you're going,
right.
You have to move over because they're going the wrong fucking way. You're going, the fuck, man? What the fuck? And then, but there's some people, Target, you look at and you go, I give them, because all they can see is my eyes because I have the mask. And I'm just like,
oh, right. Yeah, my
dumbass.
The checkout guy was wanting to have a conversation with me. And it's we're both between two masks. There's a piece of plexiglass, and it's I can't talk to you about brats and how to use mustard properly, but okay, fine. Let's talk about mustard. So
Miami Mike mentioned Russ was in the liquor aisle. Russ had that nervous. He would do that every 2 or 3. You remember? I in fact at one point I said, Russ, when you do that, can you get away from the phone? Because it's so. Can you imagine Russ during this time?
Oh my gosh!
And Russ was. I'm gonna be nice about this. He was kind of clueless about some social things. He probably was walking around these stores. You give him Randy, you have to give him the date.
Exactly. Except with a mask on, the smile or the smirk doesn't really come through it.
You have to look with the eyes. I'm not a Tom Hanks actor. I can't.
What I don't understand with the mask, okay, and I'm all for people wearing masks. Protect me from you. I protect you from me. Whatever, we're all in this together. Let's get through it. However, I've seen people wearing the mask while they drive. And I'm like, is there a random cloud of coronavirus you think you're going to pass through?
No, I think
forget.
Yeah, well, no, I do that because like once I'm leaving the house, if I put it on, it's on. It's just staying on. So that's what I drive with it on, even though it's silly to do that.
Okay.
It's because I don't want to touch my face once I leave the house because I know I've touched handles, I've touched all these other things, so I'm just going to leave it on. So that's me.
I did it the other day, forgetting it because I went to PetSmart to get something, and I had the mask on, and then my wife and I were driving, and I go, the hell do I still have my mask on for? But I took it off, and then I had to put it back on to go inside Target.
My brother-in-law witnessed a true dumbass moment. This woman coming out of Walmart, not wearing a mask, gets into her car, puts a mask on. Now, I don't know how much more like dumbass you can get, but it's like, who are you putting the mask on for? The people you're driving home to say like, oh, I wore the mask the whole time, I'm safe.
That's what I'm saying. It's just a facade. Like, oh yeah.
M. Jesse said, but who really looks at the floor? You really can't. I mean, the Target, they have like arrows every like 3 feet. You can't help but see them down the aisle. I mean, you probably not. I'm not looking down like this, but I can see them ahead of me. So you see the arrows. It's like when someone, they have them have markers stand here. They have like little stickers with Target say stand here. You should. And then you look at someone that's not standing there. You're looking at them. You're invading my space.
The one thing every time I go and it's on our list and for whatever reason, like I could never get it. It's so weird because I found flour today and flour's been out for a while. But I found,
just the way I heard it versus like, I get what you're saying. Like flour's been out of stock for a while, but I heard like flour's been out as in like, it just came out. Like, like that's the way I heard it. Like, flour's been out for a while. Like, oh, it has? Like, it's a software update. Like,
flour. Did you get flour 2.0? I got flour 3.0. No,
I have an AOL.
Is the Mr. Bubbles, like bath bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of a popular thing in our house, like put a little bit of bath bubbles in there. We like the Mr. Bubbles. And it's
now wait, do you like Mr. Bubbles?
I will use the Mr. Bubbles occasionally. As long as I have Epsom salts in my bath, that's what I'm all about.
Put on some jazz, some candles lit.
Exactly. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Last time I took a bath was in Las Vegas. Cindy and I went after my dad died. We went for my birthday. Went to Vegas, and the water temperature was like 120 degrees. It was a jacuzzi bathtub, and it was overlooking this. It was a nice hotel. But I was in there so long, and she was bringing me drinks because it was my birthday. I literally passed out in the bathtub because it was so hot. So she basically, almost killed me on my birthday. But that was the last time I took a bath.
There's a movie or a TV show where someone did that. Like they were famous for doing that, like drinking or getting high in the tub with bath salts and all that. And so what his roommate would do is he made this contraption to where like basically there was a rope tied to the back of his head. So like when he passed out from the tub, he wouldn't drown.
Miami Mike points out Michael Jackson loved bubble bath too.
Low blow.
No, not that kind. So anyway, you
see where Tyson Chicken is closing down.
Really?
Because of the virus.
Right.
Well,
it's not all of them. It's just the one in Georgia or somewhere. It's somewhere in the deep south. Yeah, because they had like they had 90.
It's in Arkansas, isn't it?
Oh, well, there's a bunch of them because there's Tyson in my hometown, and the one in Arkansas and the one in Northwest Tennessee is responsible for all of the chicken nuggets made for McDonald's. And as well as other chicken, but like there's multiple ones all over the country.
Okay.
I thought Mike Tyson just liked pigeons.
But I think it's the one in Georgia or South Carolina.
I'm Mike fucking Tyson.
Yeah.
Stop fucking picking. I will kick your ass. I will kill you. I'm Mike fucking Tyson.
I wasn't even going with the impersonation, but
fuck you. I'm Mike fucking Tyson.
There was a documentary that came out about him not too long ago, a few years ago, that was really good though, about how he never had any family. And his first manager or ringside coach, I can't remember which one it was like a father to him. Yeah. And he died roughly around 89 or 90, and that's when he started losing his shit. It's just because
he lost that figure, that father figure. Yeah,
the father figure. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that was basically where it all just started going downhill for him.
I think that too,
fear,
and
the
people are taking
Mm-hmm.
advantage of him with the money, and but it is what it is. But Cindy and I watched something on George Foreman, basically his career, and at his peak, he retired.
Yeah,
and then when he comes back, and how much money he was an angry. I mean, people didn't like it. He was an asshole when he was in his 20s, and then
right.
But he had issues growing up too.
Well,
It really affected Michael Scott with the injury.
Yeah, it did. Real quick. I'm on episode. Where Will Ferrell comes to take over for Michael Scott.
Okay.
But we should say at our poll, the show that won was the dinner party, right?
Yeah, Dinner Party won. Not my favorite episode.
Colleen was highly lobbying for.
She was very like.
I almost changed my vote because I voted for Dinner. But Dinner Party is really good.
Dinner Party is very good, but like I was saying, like to me, like when one of the hosts, it starts heavily lobbying, to me it's almost unfair.
Yeah,
but I did lobby for the injury.
I like the injury. Yeah, I mean it's hard to choose one. The thing is like the openers. I think you could almost have a separate one for just the openers.
The cold openings.
The cold openings, like there's some really like funny ones, and like my wife and I always talk about like let's just watch the cold open.
Well, if you go on YouTube, they have the funniest cold. They will have like all the cold openings, or a lot of the funny ones. It's like when Jim comes dressed as Dwight.
Oh right, yeah.
It's just some of them are just so funny. It's just
or when Jim has the Asian man like as him.
Yeah.
That is like a really good one. But personally, for me, like I really do love the final, and I love the fact that Jim is Dwight's best man, and then he brings in Michael. Like that part to me is so sweet. It's so like endearing to me.
Well, Michael changed because he. What's her name? The girl.
Holly.
Holly.
Yeah.
And I still like Aaron going, I don't get it.
Yeah, no, I love Aaron. Yeah. It's weird. Okay, so for me, like as you're going into the last couple seasons, I really feel like season 8 is better than season 9 because what they do to Andy's character and some of the other characters, like it really shifts it. And there's some things that, you and I have argued about, Jack, the whole Jim and Pam argument, although I do feel like the reconciliation of Jim and Pam like makes it worth the while. It's like you have to go
But you don't want to see mom and dad fight.
I get it, but you got to
You know what happens, but here's why
you have to go through hell to get to heaven, and it makes the reconciliation all the sweeter.
But you know what? But when Pam wanted to do her art thing, who supported her? I mean, without question, without any hesitation, without any question, who supported her? Jim.
Yes and no. No.
So Jim has a chance for his dream job. Who's not really supported?
But okay, here's the thing though. Jim did support Pam because she was 100%. When she was away at art school, she was supporting her. I'm just like the art show he didn't show up for. Michael showed up for.
Well, he was dating what's her name?
Right. And when Michael
Adams, what's her name?
But when Michael shows up, he shows up for the art school, but also when he roasts her, he's like, Pam, you quit art school or you failed art school. Boom, roasted.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm just like I still say Jim supported her through art school. So
no, but I'm not. I am saying that he did support her.
Okay,
I'm saying Jim supported Pam in her dream.
Right,
but when Jim had his dream, not as supportive.
Yeah, but like they also
that's where the
they
fight
also had kids at that time though, and that's a whole other.
I get it, but if you're gonna,
I'm just saying you go through.
I hate to throw it in your face, but I supported your dream. It's a give and take. Life is a give and take.
You go through hell to get to heaven.
I blame. So you're defending Pam. I'm blaming Pam.
I will.
What do the people in the chat say? What do you say, Nick?
I think Jim and Pam are actually a bad couple.
Of course you would say that.
She should have picked Roy.
Roy was a jerk.
Roy didn't even use fabric softener. What are you talking about?
Roy on his first date with Pam left her at a hockey game.
Roy sucks.
I don't know. I don't really have much opinion on The Office.
I thought they were the perfect couple.
They're great. I love it.
Because the acting of the two actors is amazing. I mean,
how are they not married? Right?
Yeah, you really believe that they're a couple.
I will just say that the last few episodes of season 9 are some of the best. I love some of those episodes though. And I'm saying the last 3 of season 9. But other than that, season 8 is the stronger season of the post Michael is gone seasons.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of that, I don't know if you guys read that article or not. I saw it pop up on my Facebook where it was talking about that, how actually Steve Carell, the actor, wanted to stay on the show.
Yeah, but they let him go.
The network, probably didn't want to pay his fee, and so they never renewed his contract. And
which is crazy because he's
a mistake.
Now, what are you about Andy's character? You didn't like Andy's character, what?
I just didn't like what they did with Andy's character in season 9. They changed his character. They made him more likable and lovable in season 8, and you sympathized with him. By season 9, he's more of a villain.
Well, but Andy, if you look at Andy's from the day one, he is all over the place.
Oh, he is.
And it's because of his upbringing. You see, he almost has the same upbringing as because Michael Scott had a terrible childhood. He was picked on. He was bullied. His mom wasn't wasn't that supportive. His dad wasn't in the picture, I guess. But the same thing with Andy is they catered to his brother, who was Josh. Was it Josh? What's a singer?
I thought it was Bublé, but maybe I don't know.
No, it was what's that singer? Grabin. Anyway, they loved him and they didn't love Andy.
P. Grabin.
So I think that's where Andy's care. I think it's almost true to because he just is all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, but anyway, I love The Office. John Krasinski is a serious actor now. You can see it in the show where he throws a snowball at Dwight. Yeah, starts it, and then Dwight they have a war
too far.
And his fear and the acting that's involved, it's like a complete. It's not funny, Jim.
Yeah,
it's terrified, Jim, and it's
You need to check out the Office Ladies podcast.
I just joined their Facebook. I had to answer some questions, but I was just approved on their Facebook group. So I'm gonna.
How did you answer? I didn't have to answer questions. I just asked to join, and then I got in.
You were early on.
I had to. It must have been early on because now they ask you have to answer what's your favorite episode, what this.
Really? Huh?
I had to do that. Josh Groban.
Josh Grabin. That's what I thought.
Not Grabin.
Anyway, you should listen to the most recent episode, though. I know that, you could go in order, but the most recent episode of the podcast, they talk about the episode where it's Michael's birthday and how Steve Carell is an ice skater, and he used to play pickup games of hockey.
Yeah.
And I was just the whole time I'm listening to them talk about it, I'm like, man, this is reminding me of Jack.
Well, if you watch him skate, you can tell because you can always tell someone who can't skate and someone who can skate, and he does that I just watched Threat Level Midnight.
Yes, and they talked about that in that episode.
He's actually, he's a good skater.
Yeah,
I don't think it's him taking those slap shots, but
yeah, I don't know. I mean, they didn't talk about the slap shot thing. But they haven't gotten to Threat Level Midnight. But they did mention in this most recent episode is that his ice skating ability comes back in Threat Level Midnight. So yeah, it's anyway. I just
he's Canadian, isn't he? Isn't he from Canada?
Right.
Not that mandatory you could skate because I know Illyrio wasn't a great skater. So not to pick on you. I know you're not listening to Illyrio, but
he's French Canadian though.
Yeah. Because he was just starting to learn. When I met him, he was just learning how to skate or something like that.
You could make poutine though.
Yeah.
Well,
oh yeah.
I was trying to avoid us from going to another 2-hour episode, but that's what we do in quarantine Corona.
Oh, and no one in the chat has an opinion on Pam and Jim?
No, they don't.
Screw you.
I think we've lost a listener. They're like, they're talking about The Office way too much. I love Parks and Rec.
Spoilers.
So anyway, if you're like me, and
Is it 12 o'clock?
It's just about it's 12 o'clock, and
God, I gotta get up in 6 hours. I'm not like Chris.
It's my son's birthday officially, so
well, happy birthday! Your son's 10, man. That's
10, yeah, a decade. So
wow.
It was about this time of.
So did you have your kids late in life? Because you're what, 48, 49?
Fuck you. Screw you and your stupid ageism. No, 10 years ago, I was in my studio down here in the basement watching Lost season 6, and it was season 6 at the time. I remember that aspect was on. I'm almost positive about that. But anyway, I'm down in the basement. I'm working on a show for a painting show that I was going to have, and I'm working. My wife comes down, and it's kind of odd for her to come down at midnight, or like 11:30 or whatever. And she comes down and she's like, "I don't want you to worry, but I'm in labor right now." and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And she's like, "I'm okay. We don't have to go right now, but
yeah. I'm like 10 minutes apart. I'm good.
Just wanted to let you know." And so I was like,
"So whenever you're done."
Yeah, and so I was like, "Okay, she's being really cool about this. I'll just get back to painting." And so I try to start to paint, and I'm like,
"Are you serious?"
Yeah, I started to try to paint, and I'm like, the more I paint, the more I'm like, "Wait, what?" I can't focus at all. So I go upstairs, and there's my wife in the dark, maybe dimly lit lights, right? And she's just doing some deep yoga trance. And I'm like,
where's your daughter at this point?
My daughter's asleep. She's in her bed asleep, So.
Did you take her with you, or someone have to come over and watch?
We did. We had a relative, an uncle came down, picked her up, and took to her cousin's house basically for the morning. But he came down at in the morning at 6 a.m. or what have you. But so I go upstairs. It's dark in the living room. She's in this deep meditative yoga trance, and I'm just like, okay. Clearly, I cannot do anything right now. I'm just going to maybe I'll just go take a nap. I didn't know what to do at that point. I was just so flummoxed. I couldn't.
And this was your second child, not your first.
Her second, yeah. And
does she know transcendental meditation, or
she was in a kind of a trance-like state, and she did yoga for a very long time until her water broke, at which point things got serious.
Mm-hmm.
And
because then you had to clean up the floor.
It was more about the fact that the contractions got more serious. Yeah, I cleaned up the floor or whatever, but the contractions got more serious, and she was like,
"Was it like Pam that you wanted the later you went so you had more time in the hospital?"
It was kind of like that, yeah. She was kind of like, "Oh, I'm okay. I can do this." And so at some point, okay, so my brother-in-law comes down, picks up Maggie, my daughter, and I'm like, okay, let's go, and so we, I drive her to the hospital, and by the time we get there, it's about 6:45, almost 7 a.m., and they're basically she's thinking that this is just going to be her first labor, and so she's like, okay, I'm ready for the epidural, and the doctor's like, there's no time for that. You're fully dilated. You're ready to go. It's go time.
Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah. And so it was just kind of she was like, wait, no, what? I want to have the epidural.
No epidural.
This is your fault, Matt.
For M. Jesse in the chat, how many hours later? It was probably about 7 hours, because my son was born about 7:20. And so, and I don't remember what time she came down to tell me, but it was somewhere around midnight. So you could almost call it threat level.
Well, she shouldn't be interrupting Lost.
Threat level midnight. Yeah.
I wasn't watching Lost at the time, but I remember Lost was in the background of what was on my mind, because I was thinking about Lost, probably listening to a Jan Jack podcast. So
I'm always amazed though, with women in labor, the differences between what is pain and what is not pain. Because like some people, as soon as they're like, "Oh my God, I'm in labor. We gotta go right now." Like, blah, 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 and then like Diana, the woman I've been seeing for a while, she has one child, a daughter, and she was had never flipped, never.
Right. Yeah.
And when she went into labor, she was planning on just having it at her home, like the baby just in home in the tub or whatever. And then like they realized that something was wrong, and she's like, "I'm not driving into town. Fuck it, let's just do it." And like her husband at the time was like, "No, we should probably go to the hospital." And just like what am I? Not weak. It's just like, geez, like this is actually something that you could die from. If it's something goes wrong. If it's like, and then just like some people are just so. Like you're saying, like she's in a meditative state. Like, okay, that's fine. This is my second one. I know with the how it goes, Whereas like my sister would have, like the minute like something happens, it's like, oh, I gotta go.
Yeah, it was. She wanted to have him on Earth Day, and so she was really trying to go into labor on Earth Day, and it just.
You want to share the birthday with Earth?
So. I think she just thought it
get overshadowed a lot.
Yeah, I know. So, but anyway,
it's like my daughter when she had my granddaughter. She had her on the 9th. I said you couldn't just wait 2 more days.
I just realized the Earth is 50 years old today. Isn't that crazy?
50 years old today. Yeah,
50 years old.
Earth. Way to go!
Yeah.
Good job, Earth. Keep up the good work.
Yeah,
I mean he's just a little bit older than Matt. So
yeah,
keep it clean, Earth. My son Nick would appreciate this. I bought him the Millennium Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
It is and there's been a lot of Lego Millennium Falcons, but this is the one from Solo. So it has the extra little escape pod.
Escape pod.
I'm like, might as well get the escape pod.
That to me is one of the most disappointing things though from the movie Solo is that like they put in that little extra thing, and it's like I really wanted to know. What it was, and then like you just see it for half a second. It's like, oh, we need to jettison it off. You're like, that's it, really? Like, I mean, you couldn't have been.
Did they know they were going to piss you off?
Yeah. I mean,
I love Solo, but
I'm not saying I hated the movie. I'm just saying like I wanted more. I wanted to know why that little extra.
I want the whole world.
I want it now.
I want it now.
A couple things he has.
Bad egg.
He has picked out Spider-Man Far From Home as his birthday movie that we are to watch. So, he really likes the Spider-Man movies. For some reason.
I know. The first time I saw Far From Home, I thought it was good. The second time I watched it, I didn't think it was as good because I don't like it. It's the same as like it was with Iron Man 3. Is that the Mandarin in the first half hour of that movie is so good, and then when they pull the rug out from you underneath you, you're like, oh, it's not as good. And that's the same thing as with Far From Home. Is that once you realize it's all just an illusion, you're like, oh, and it's just
I like the Spider-Man episode Home Alone.
I know you're not a big Spider-Man fan. He's been in a big Avengers kick lately, so he's been.
That's my Spider-Man.
We've been watching different Spider-Man movies.
I'm not criticizing. I'm not a fan.
Recently watched Captain America's Winter Soldier,
which is excellent.
I love all the Captain America movies.
Captain America is my favorite.
Yeah. So I mean, one of our inside jokes is on your left. I mean, that's like a big joke. So like if we're out on bike rides or what have you, and we're, it's like I'll zoom up next to him. I'm always like on your left,
on your left.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that's the movie that we're going to watch. I was kind of surprised he picked that movie, but I think he wants to subject his sister to it. So.
Oh, nice. Because she has to watch it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Because it's his birthday and he's king for a day.
Well, I mean, to me, Far From Home, the things that work in it are not actually the villain storyline. It's the MJ and the student storyline.
Yeah,
like that to me is what's good.
Michael Jordan's in it.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Yeah. How did you not know that? Yeah, Michael Jordan.
I didn't know. I just thought he was in Space Jam. But, what the fuck do I know?
All right. Before this episode goes way into like this like beyond 2 hours.
Hey, did I mention how hungry I'm in? And then Mike posts 4 Jack in the Box tacos. I'm like going, I'm starving here, and I see Anyway, go ahead.
I that does sound really good right now.
I know that Fort Collins is getting an In and Out at some point, and just waiting for a Jack in the Box.
It's true, In and Out, Jack in the Box.
I'm not a big In and Out fan, but I'm just saying it's nice when we get stuff.
You know what's nice when you get stuff is when you go to Amazon.com/JanJack and you're like,
Do they have tacos? Are they deep fried?
I need to get that old school Star Wars Clone Wars, the Clone Wars that existed before the Clone Wars. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't think anyone's saying that.
You can get them. I think they're fairly cheap on DVD. I mean, they only came out on DVD.
They are not cheap on DVD. Actually, if you go to Amazon.com/JanJack, those early versions, the 2D,
the Volume 1 and Volume 2. Yeah.
Volume 1, Volume 2. Volume 2 is more expensive. I actually got it cheaper on eBay. Not to
before this show goes on too long, then you have 45 minutes for this Amazon.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I love those original ones. I'm so glad I have them.
Maru's conversation for future is Nick and I talking about it, but I have.
Don't spoil me because I'm binging.
Well, these are no longer canon.
Yeah.
But like they're the ones that came out before episode 3. But the thing is about them is that the first volume is because like the way that the new Clone Wars series it starts like mid-war. So to me, you need to watch the first of this original series to kind of get like, oh, Anakin's still a Padawan at this point before he becomes a Jedi Knight, and then start with a new series. And then almost finish up with the second volume at the very end. It's a good. I mean, I still consider it canon. I really like.
I like how it finishes up.
Hold on a second. What point did Nick say he liked something in the show? It was 2 hours and 5 minutes.
You're correct, Will Fry. Volume 2 is twice as much as Volume 1. Unless you go to eBay, you can find it a little bit cheaper on eBay. Not to promote eBay, but hey, whatever. You can buy it directly from a person.
I'm shocked that. I mean, like Volume 2 is probably the more important one because it finishes up the story, but
and it gets right up to the very beginning.
Of episode 3, yeah, exactly. But I also like Volume 1 though too because it introduces you to Asajj Ventress and like how she was recruited by Dooku, and you see the first fight between
Dooku,
between Ventress and Anakin, and so I think it's a great series.
Miami Mike points out you can also get kites on Amazon.
That is true.
That's probably true.
So with that, you could also go to just janjack.com. You could click on the Patreon link, become a patron.
If you click on that, can you get Clone Volume 3 or whatever it is?
No, you can just help us out, us poor lonely podcasters that are just trying to eke out a living on this network here. And basically Jack takes all of our money, but it's late.
Yeah, I'm cashing in. That's for sure.
But we all do. We really appreciate all the patrons that make this show possible. I appreciate everybody in the chat that came. Will Fry,
and stay,
and Jesse 99S, Nicholas Dunn. Who
I don't like that guy.
I don't like that guy. He's a dick.
Thanks for joining us, Chris. Did I already mention Chris Doran? Doran. I hope I'm not murdering your name. Matt Treist. Sherry was here earlier. Matt Krieb, the other Matt.
There's too many fucking Matts.
You're right. So
am I right? I mean, that's like.
And did I already mention Mike C? Because Mike and I go way back. He is Miami Mike to me, and always will be.
He always be Miami Mike to me.
He will always be Miami Mike to me. Of all the patrons, though, that make this show possible, I want to thank the terrific Tack, the excellent Eckhart, the marvelous Maggie, the magnanimous Ed, the jovial Joanne, the delightful Drake, and the greatest Greg. Thank you for all that you do for making this show possible. We appreciate it.
Did you skip one? You skipped one.
I did?
I thought you skipped one.
Who?
Maggie?
No, you said Maggie. She was number 3.
I called her the marvelous Maggie as opposed to
okay. There's 7, right?
There is 7. I counted.
Okay, then I apologize.
I'm like Santa Claus. I looked at the list. I checked it twice. So
it's in the box.
Anyway, this was a great show, guys. It was 1 in a million. I always enjoy hanging out with you guys. This was
it was fun.